Hey there, it's Adam, the tent guy, and I'm here with Dave Lush from his main company, or not main, I don't know if it's his main company, but one of his companies, Bouncing on Air. He does bounce houses and a lot of other stuff. He's basically a serial entrepreneur. So why don't you give a little background about yourself?
Again, thank you for taking this time to interview me. And it's kind of nice to be able to just share my story, I guess. In the bounce house world, so again, my name is Dave Lush. I'm 21. I turned 21 in July, and I currently own Bouncing on Air. We're a full party rental service company in Buffalo, New York. So we do bounce houses, tents, tables, chairs, DJ, and photo booth services. And the other company I own is Lush Engravings. So we do personalized like trophies, engravings on plaques and stuff like that. So, and then we have a few other things that are in the works, but those are the two main companies that I own just right now. Little background about myself, I would say, is that I've kind of always been in the whole selling game my whole life. I've always been an entrepreneur. I might not have known it, I guess, when I was younger, but kind of it got brought up to me that it was maybe something that I should get into when my uncle came in for Christmas just one time, because he's an entrepreneur himself. And he kind of brought up, maybe starting your own company and stuff like that. And I researched it, came up with a business plan, and I got a loan when I was 14 to start Lush Engravings. And that's how that company kind of started off. And then as we kept going on with my stuff, my parents started Bouncing on Air back in 2000. I was born in 1998. So basically bounce houses and party stuff has been in my blood my whole life. So
Right.
That's basically how I got into the bounce house biz. But my parents didn't really they definitely treated it as a company, but it wasn't anything where they were looking to expand, get into, the area of where we are today. Went from 15 jumps to 45 jumps, and then tables, chairs, DJ, and photo booth stuff. So within the past 4 years, we've definitely expanded. And now we have over 15 employees compared to just me and my dad doing deliveries. So it's definitely
Right.
been a life-changing experience. So
Now
it's good.
you told me that you bought this from your parents, right? It's entirely
Correct.
yours now, right?
Yep. It's 100% mine. I had to so it was basically my mom kind of came up with the scenario to me where it's like, Dave, you can either go to college or go to college. And I really didn't want to go to college. I didn't really see a value in that personally to me. I still signed up for college. I went to college for a year. I went to Medaille in Buffalo here. Took a few classes, 25,000 just later on in tuition. I learned nothing about business within a year, so I dropped out. And within that time, it was my mom and dad. They were like, "Well, we have these 15 jumps sitting in the garage, so if you want to buy the company, here's the price. You got 5 years to pay it off." And I definitely overpaid for the company. Sorry to my mom and dad, but it was either I overpay for a company that's kind of there with 10,000 in sales, or I got to go to college, and I did not want to go to college. So
Right. They didn't give you a family deal.
They did not give me the family deal, no. But I appreciate them charging me what they charged, because I definitely I gained a love and a passion for the industry, and it made me a hard worker and who I am today. So
Awesome. So within your business, what are the items that you rent out?
So we have a full selection of bounce houses, tents, tables, and chairs. We're just getting into more of tents and stuff like that. We don't have anything bigger than 20 by 40 like pole tents, but our main source of income for the business is bounce houses. So we have 45 different types of inflatables, lots of Disney inflatables, and then we also have just basic just jumpers and stuff like that to rent out to people. But and then we do lots of it's mainly backyard just parties and stuff like that, but we've been starting to get into the corporate business, and we do lots of schools and church events. So
nice. So I have a list of questions right here, and basically in your introduction, you blew through like the first 7.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No. That's perfect. Perfect. So I'll get into it. When you first got the company, like, what was your mission? Well, first of all, how old were you when you got the company?
Oh, when I got the company, I was 21 now. So so when I first got the company, I couldn't legally really take the company to I don't know, like the wording, but I couldn't like legally take over a company. I guess I was less than 16.
Okay.
So I kept it in my parents' name, but I believe I was 14 and a half to 15 to when parents gave me the keys to the bounce houses and all the responsibility for insurance and stuff like that to figure out the trucks.
Okay. Well, I have a question for that, but you
Yeah.
mentioned you got it when you were 14, 15. How were you delivering these things when you're 15?
Yeah, there's definitely been some times where I've been delivering stuff when I probably shouldn't have been, but it's just that drive to, I got to make money and I got bills to pay. And again, I didn't want to go to college, so I was like, I'm pushing hard on this to do whatever it kind of takes to do what I got to do. I know what I want in life, so I kind of just I was always delivering stuff. When I could, I'd ask my mom and dad to help me. So whether my dad would drive and I would do the work, or mom would drive and I would do the work and stuff like that. But it's just you kind of just figure out a way to do it.
So sometimes you were driving before you were legally supposed to.
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
Cannot confirm.
How are again, my questions, but this is all too fascinating. So how are customers, I mean, was this all set up through your cell phone, or were at age 15, were you paying an office lady to take phone calls? Were people just calling up and getting the squeaky voiced kid and saying, yeah, I'll come to your bounce house?
Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you how many times I've shown up to a party from the age of 15 through even today. The amount of times I've shown up to a party and I go, hey, I'm Dave Lush. And they're like, okay. Right. And I'm like, and they're like, how old are you? And it's awesome telling them like, oh, I'm like 17, I'm 16. And they're like, wow, you're like extreme professional. And like, I took all the phone calls, I took all the orders, I did all the routing. It's not like we're a huge company the past 3 years, except for these past 2 years, comparing them. But it's like I had to take care of everything myself, and I tried to do as much as I could by myself because it's just more profitable. The less time that they have to pay someone, the better. So
right. So during school hours, because you were still in high school, was it just going to voicemail? And did you have a study hall where you could be like, yo, Mr. Principal, I've got a business. Let me go in a private room so I can run this on my study hall?
I had 3 teachers that I can think of that supported me in what I'm doing today, to where they thought that what I was doing was equal to or more important than school. So my business teacher, my science teacher, and my gym teacher. So wow. those were the only 3 teachers that would allow me to take phone calls during class. I would tell them, hey, I have to go to the bathroom when I'm getting a phone call, and I would literally go out into the hallway and take that phone call. It wasn't that big of a problem with the principal for the school, because he rented stuff from me himself. So when he saw Dave in the hallway, he knew what was going on. So
nice. So good. Back then, you didn't have that many. You had 15 units, but did you guys already have some sort of rental program, or were you just keeping track of all this with something like Excel or notebooks? Or
yeah, so my mom, we were one of the first customers for Rent Masters. So if you guys need a software and stuff like that, that's Rent Masters is really good if you're kind of like starting off. I definitely found a new software. ERS is what I currently use. It's for the size of the company like that we are now, it's definitely just better to use. But for the past software, I used the same software that my mom and dad had. And it was pretty simple. I actually carry around a laptop just with me at all times. When I took a job, I usually would write down on pen and paper, just the information. And then when I got my study halls, I would just book them and,
Right. I use Rentmaster, but I do think that they have different tiers.
That's awesome.
And different ones for either bounce house or whatever. I use the event rental one, and I'm fairly big, and it works well for me.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. Yeah, I feel like maybe I wasn't I was kind of quick with my decision just making to change it, but I felt just at that time for me it just wasn't right. But you're 100% right. There's a ton of people that use it, so it's
I definitely see a lot of bounce house people go more towards the program you have now.
Yep.
Though, but so yeah, that's awesome. So that's crazy. You're taking phone calls at school. You got teachers letting you. You're delivering things when you're 14. I'm currently 37. I've been doing this for like 15, 16 years. So I used to get the same kind of stuff when I was younger. Now it's going away. Now I look more respectable with the grays or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But we showed up to a job one time, and this was like 5-6 years ago, and someone was like, "So whose daddy is the company?"
Yep.
And I look at him, I'm like,
Yep.
I'm the
Yep.
daddy. And he's
Oh
like,
my
what?
gosh.
Yeah.
I literally cannot tell you the amount of times, even still today, where I show up with workers that are like 50 or 40, and like they're like, "Oh, hey, Dave," and I'm just standing in the background like, "I'm Dave." You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they just don't expect it, which is it's kind of cool. It shows that I offer enough, professionalism to where they don't realize it's a 21-year-old that's on on the phone, or a 14-year-old.
Right.
Like every time that I would show up, whether it's with my dad or a worker, and half my workers are older, that they'd be like, "Oh, you're not Dave?" You'd be like, "No, the guy in the truck is."
Right. That's awesome, man.
So it's cool.
All right, so I can get into some of my questions now. So one of the questions is, what was your mission when you first started? Obviously, when you're 15, 16, 17, you may not have that in your head, like what is your mission?
Yeah.
Besides make money and be successful. But so what was your mission when you first started, and how did that mission evolve?
I think if you want to be 100% personal and honest with what my mission was, I was, not trying to get really down here, but like I was extremely bullied in high school, and I really wanted to just kind of make a statement for myself to where I could be successful, even though the crap and the stuff that I put up with during like high school. I really like, if you want a mission statement from my 14-year-old mind to like my 17-year-old mind during high school, I just want to prove the fact that I can do things that those people could not do.
Okay.
So I just wanted to be successful, and I wanted those people to look and be like, whoa, look where Dave is today. And I think that's what I have done so far. So I'm
Right.
happy.
Do you still think about that at all right now?
Yeah,
Or
I feel like that's something that personal here, but it's something that really kind of comes up to my head maybe like once a week, where I think about those people that have said those things, and I feel like they're always going to be there in my mind, but I need to be powerful enough to be able to push them aside and do what I need to do to be successful and take care
right.
of myself. So I've definitely pushed them away. I'm not going through the struggles like that I was like back in the day. Now that I know what I did was right, and the things that I've done are good. So
Right.
definitely changed.
Stopping thinking about all those other people goes away with just time. I
Yeah.
used to get a lot. People would say, "How's your little business doing?"
Yep.
They would throw that word in "little" because they're just taking it down a peg, and
Yep.
it would make me so mad. Then I realized it doesn't matter anymore.
Nope.
And then I heard a quote from an old dude who said, "When you're young, you're worried about what everyone's thinking of you. When you're middle aged, you don't care what they're thinking about you, and when you're old, you realize no one was ever thinking about you."
Yeah, 100%. And I've actually had two. I've had two people reach out from high school to congratulate me, and they've definitely taken a different approach on life. So that definitely helped when you have two people that, I mean, I know that might seem really small. It's like the scheme of things, but when you got people that have really like harassed you and like taken care of you during your younger years of life, and they call you and be like, "Yo, Dave, like congratulations," and then they ask for jobs.
Right.
That's
funny.
It's just kind of nice to have. So
I had my bully buy a tent from me, and when I walked up to him, I was like, "Yo, Bobby, why'd you bully me so much in high school?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Man, I'm sorry. I was just a D bag."
Yep.
I'm like, "Yeah, you were, man. It's $500 for this tent."
Yes, it is. And you charge him every dollar, and you get cash.
Yeah. We're friends now.
Yeah,
But,
good.
How has your mission changed since you gained, leadership and trying to grow your business? What's your current mission?
So I've really been, this past year has been an absolute mind changing just moment for me, because I've been really trying to focus on my business and what I can do. And I don't have an exactly mission statement, but if I could like tell you how I've kind of changed to a point with things, is that I guess a mission statement would be like, I'm trying to treat my workers as best as I can, to where like the mission statement comes into where it's like, if your workers care about you and they care about your company and you treat them right, then they create this thing in your company that just makes it work, and it just makes it successful. So I don't really know a mission statement, just off the top of my head, other than provide, the cleanest and the best party rental services in Buffalo, because I feel like everyone tries to say that,
Right,
but it's about like what you do. So
are you like in growth phase? Are you trying to like grow this like larger?
Oh yeah. I definitely want to be the biggest party rental company. I want people to know our name. I want people to be like they don't go on to Google and they type in bounce houses. They go into Google and they type in bouncing on air. Like that's what I want. They're like, we don't go anywhere else. We've had the best customer service and stuff like that. That's what I'm pushing for, is to be a household name. Even though that sounds crazy for bounce houses, I just feel like kids are always going to need some type of fun and something to do. So it's like, if we could be that name that clicks in your head, like, I need this, call Dave.
Right. That leads me to the next question. How do you market your business? How are most people aware of your business?
Okay. So from the years I took over until about last year, I didn't do a ton of just marketing, to be honest. I kind of just talked to the people that I talked to. I reached out to past clients. That was really the only types of marketing that I did. Currently, this past summer, with ERS, because it's so simple and easy to use, is that we did a lot of email, just marketing. And I guess something else that kind of stuck out that worked for us, and we're going to do for this next year, or when things start to clear up, is we're going to try to keep doing just the videos. So we would post videos of me actually going through the bounce house. So basically it would start off with like me just like in front of the new bounce house like that we just got, and then I give them a really quick tutorial, like 5 minutes long most. So that's definitely something good for marketing. If anyone ever has time to just go outside when it's nice out, set up a bounce house, like stake it down, do it the same exact way that you would do at a customer's house, and then make a video about that actual product of you walking in front of it, like, hey, this is Dave from Bouncing on Air. We provide this. Here's our new bounce house. This is the size. This is the size we need. We need an outlet. We need within, this feet of room. And then you actually give them a visual of that bounce house as you go through, because nothing sells a bounce house more than either the person that you're talking to on the phone that knows like what they're doing, or a video of the product. So
Right.
if you can get that customer a video of your actual product on your website so people can see it, that's
cool.
golden.
Are you also putting those on like Facebook and Instagram too?
Yep. So we did run some Facebook ads. The only ads that I had trouble with those videos was the Avengers one, because I feel like that's the only one where everyone kind of like ended up commenting like spoilers to like the movie. So that was literally the only bad, or not bad, but like the only thing that we messed up on for marketing with the videos, is that we didn't think that people would drop the bounce house thing and start talking about the movie. So it's just something to think about.
Right. Do you do Google AdWords at all?
So this past summer is when I kind of got into it. I wasn't spending a ton of just money. So the way I look at it is that I have enough business to keep my guys working. I had to double my people from last year, and I spent no money on advertising. So I never even thought this past summer to even spend money on like Google ads and stuff like that, just because we were doing so well. But if you're in a competitive like just market, like in San Francisco or in Chicago or Austin, Texas, or something like that, if you're in a competitive just market, you're going to need to spend some money on just Google ads. Because I can tell you right now, my competitor spends $500 a month in Google ads, and he just obliterates the market here. But we were doing fine enough to where it's like, hey, we're still doing 60% more than last year. Why would I spend more money when I don't have the money to buy trucks and stuff? So I'm like, let's just keep it the way it is. So
right, that's the way I see it too. I only do Google ads, and no one does it around me, so I only pay like $30 a month. I'm the only one.
Nice.
Everyone else is a lot older than I am. But people who call and say we can advertise for you and charge you this or that, I say, hey, listen, I got more business than I need, so I don't need to advertise.
Yep.
And on to like Tony and Frank. I know you got some questions, and David, but I'll put those up later, so you guys can keep asking questions. But I'm not going to put them up right now. I'll put them up in a little bit, guys. Okay, who's your general customer? Obviously, it's bounce houses, so it's like those kind of parties.
Yep, exactly. So this past year, my general customers and stuff like that were definitely backyard parties. From June, definitely end of May through midway through June, it was schools. Like I could not get enough staffing to do school jobs. So I mean, I'd say 20 to 30% is schools and churches, and then the rest are backyard just parties. I mean maybe 10% like corporate stuff. So we definitely are not hitting the corporate stuff as hard as I would like to, but with all the stuff that I've been learning this past year, I think we're going to start to do that well this year.
Nice. Have you ever turned down a client? Just been like, no, we're not doing a bounce house or tent for you.
I definitely don't. Okay, so there's I personally, so to answer the question, no, I've never had someone call and be like, no, we're not going to do it unless there's not enough room to set it up. There's a power line, like stuff like that. But I've never had someone actually call me and like, I'm like, no, because I'm not going to rent to you. Like, they're people, they have the money, take their money and just do what you got to do to get the business. So, as much as I hate setting up, as the workers call it here, like buffalo grass, where it's like, it's not grass, it's mainly concrete and stuff like that.
Right.
Like we hate doing tents there, but it's like, we're not going to say no to the customer. We just work our business around it to where if there's problems within the area or something, we just start charging, delivery fees, or we start charging fees where it's like, hey, if you're in this spot, we know your grass is not soft, so we got to charge you to use a jack just hammer. It takes twice the time or something,
Right.
So
we've developed a fairly extensive, we call it a DNR list, do not rent to list.
Yeah.
There's some very in my more line where it's like a lot of wedding equipment and stuff. There's a lot of customers, like certain venues, who just really don't listen to rules, really don't treat your equipment right. So they're DNR'd. And I've gotten the skill when I go on a site visit to understand that this one person that I'm talking to will never, ever, ever be pleased. And then they're going to like complain.
Yep. That's the thing.
Yeah. So like I said, I got more business than I need. So with those people, I just kind of say like, oh, I'm sorry, we're entirely booked up. Because I know the next week someone's going to call for the same exact thing and I don't have to deal with that particular person.
Yep. There's definitely nothing wrong with doing that. I mean, we have a list through ERS of people that have been, I mean, it's not really, it's technically a do not rent list, the same exact thing. But if those people call, it's simply just like when we put them on that list, it doesn't let them book online. So when they call me, I type in their name because they ordered before. I can see, okay, here's a list of past problems because we entered them into the system because that's what we do. And I can be like, listen, hey, last time we had a problem with your grass, just so you know, you need to get a frame tent, and this is the price. If we're going to rent something to you, it has to be a frame, so I definitely, there's always going to be those customers where you just don't want to rent to again. But if I can do what I can to rent them stuff, I'm going to. I don't want to say no, it sucks sometimes, but
that is a good policy. I feel kind of like you saying that kind of makes me feel like a D-bag. Saying no to people, but I'm fine with saying no to people.
Yeah, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Let's see. Why do customers select you over, like, say, your competition?
Everyone says this, but I mean it. It's service. You can read all 65 5-star reviews that we got within the past summer. It's service. When every single comment is not just they did great, it's Dave from Bouncing on Air and his crew did this. When you have customers taking the time to actually write something on Google, it shows that your service is good. We definitely provide the best service. We're always on time. It's just service. That's how we get the clients back. So
right. Yeah, that's basically what everyone says, and there's not much else that you can say.
Yeah, I mean, if you provide crap service, then you're not going to get their phone call back. So spend as much time learning about that customer as much as you can, because as much as you might hate going to that person's like backyard, she might work at a bank and they do corporate stuff, and boom, you got yourself a corporate client. So just do what you got to do.
Right, definitely. Do you work with your competition? Like, do you ever need to get sub rentals, or they sub rent from you?
Yes, this is I could talk about this for hours. From the age of 14 until 18 and 19, I did not want one thing to do with my competitors because I was young and I was smart and I was cool, and like, I don't need you guys. I don't need my competitors. But one day I got a phone call from a guy who I just partnered up with. I didn't really want to talk about it unless you want to, but we partnered up. We've been talking about it for some time, but I got a phone call from the guy who's now my partner 3 or 4 years ago now. And the second I got a phone call from my competitor, and he was like, hey, Dave, I've been watching your company. I see that you guys are insured. Do you guys mind doing this bounce house just for us? I mean, the fact that a competitor called us and was like, hey, can you do this job? To trust us. I was like, okay, we might have something here. So we go do the job. It goes great. The customer is just happy. They send us a check for that job. Okay, 2 weeks I come back, he calls back again, and we get another job because he's booking up. He's starting to give us the leftover jobs, which I'm fine with because they're still jobs, you know. But working with my competitor was probably the smartest thing I have ever done. As long as that competitor meets your expectations on insurance, customer service, quality of the products, on-time delivery, and takedown, as long as they meet your company culture and what your needs are, I don't see why not to work with them.
Right. And were you giving him a discount, like the industry standard of 10%?
Nope, he was extremely nice. He would literally give me the full thing.
Oh, nice.
And we did the same thing back. It happened so many times. We didn't even start to keep track. We started to keep track like 2 years ago, and we just stopped because there's too many jobs that we were sharing. It did not matter to us. Everyone was always happy, and it just worked out well.
Right.
I mean,
so
like,
even though he might have been getting the bounce house from you, was he still getting some equipment there?
yes. So I would probably say like maybe only like 20% of the time that we would show up with our stuff, and he had stuff there too. So that was kind of cool. So basically what he would do was, because the amount of phone calls that he was getting, let's say they got a tent and a bounce house. If they didn't have the bounce house, he would call us and be like, yo, do you have a tent and a bounce house?
Right.
And we would just do the whole job because he's going to get phone calls for that tent or the bounce house. So it's like, just give the whole job to someone, and that's karma. So
Gotcha.
it was good.
That's interesting that you found someone like that who's just going to do the whole thing. Like I tell everyone on my channel all the time, like subrentals are the key to you growing and being able to do things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. I tell people all the time, like there's no reason for you to lose a $5,000 job because you don't have 50 chairs. Book that job and go find those 50 chairs somewhere else.
100%.
But what me and my competition all do around us is we give each other a 10% discount. So if a tent's $100, you know, they're going to make 90. I'm going to make 10 on it. Yep. That's a real small number. So whenever we do a sub rental situation, we make a little bit of money. But that's very cool that you found him and you guys just like
that was so cool. I don't. That is probably the rarest occurrence. But if you guys can do the 10% deal, then just do it. It's just smart. Like it's basically. I know this kind of goes in deep, but it's like, let's say you're number 3 on Google for like a major like search term. Now that you're working with these other people, not only are you 3, you're a part of 1, you're a part of 2, you're a part of 7. Like you're literally becoming, instead of just 3, you're the whole page now, and you have an opportunity. Like I do not want bounce houses on my racking. Like I want them out.
You want it out.
So, yep.
I'm going to pop a question up. So it's kind of based on what we're talking about before, marketing.
Thank you.
First of all, this person wants to say congrats. You're 21. Thank you. And then let's see. Can you ask Dave, if someone was just starting out, what would be the best marketing tool for a smaller business to keep up with the competitors? So I'm assuming you're just starting out, so they don't have a lot of money.
Yep. Okay. So if you do not have a lot of just money, which no one really to a point starts off a business, you know, to a point with a lot of cash to work with, I would definitely suggest doing as many online courses as you can about websites. So if you guys can go on to like Udemy or go on to something to where you guys can learn about how to build a good just website, I would do that. Because the second is your website is your main thing that is going to get your customers. Your sales is good, but you need to sell people on the website. So, I mean, would be the best market. Yeah. So like the best just market tool is to make sure your website is perfect. There are so many, again, like we could talk about this for 10 hours long on how to make a good just website, but go and Google how to make a good website, what it takes to make a powerful site. Go look at your competitor stuff and go see like what they're doing. Don't copy it, but do something similar and post it to Google and just do your thing. So like you can send out flyers, you can send out postcards, you can do whatever you want. Website. Spend your money, spend your time on your website. The rest can follow. Right.
That's what I say too. The website is the most important bit. For some people, it is kind of intimidating to do, or some people don't have any money. So I also want to add one thing. Make a Facebook page and treat your Facebook page as like a free website. But whenever you upload a picture, get an editing program. Upload a picture of whatever the item is, but then next to it have your company name, your email, your contact, and underneath have your price. So when anyone goes onto your Facebook page, when they click that picture, they see a 20 by 20. It's $200. It's made by XYZ Tents. There's the contact info. it's your free website basically with
Yeah.
all your information on it as you're getting your website built. So don't discount Facebook. It's entirely free, and you can basically
Yeah.
have it as a free website.
That's great. Yep. And I see tons of people that still do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. If you make enough money to where you're happy, you got enough followers to where you're good, then do that. But the second you get enough money and you want to become a business, spend money on your website and get your stuff together. Because the whole goal of being an owner of a company is not, for me, is to not be there at some point in your life.
Right.
So, make your website, get your ducks in a row on what you need to do to get your company to run itself. You got to start with the website, and then we go all through the, the management and stuff like that. So, and accountant and all that fun stuff. So just
Right.
for marketing, website needs to be on point. Go Google it. There's millions of free videos to watch. So,
right. And there's affordable things to do, like Squarespace. You can make a pretty affordable website.
Yep.
You did mention you have employees. How many employees do you have during the busy season?
Yep. During the busy season, we have about like 15.
Nice.
And now that we're going to be combined with the new company, we'd have about 30. So,
right.
Yep.
What do you do with your profits?
Again, the answer has changed from 14 to 19 until 19 to 21. So I would say, just so people can hear it, I do want to tell the story about me when I was younger with the money. I didn't do anything bad with it, but I can tell you right now, I was stupid, and I spent it on things that I didn't need. I cannot even think about the amount of things I could have bought to grow my company compared to going out to eat with friends, paying for the movies, paying for the dinner. I was literally shelling out every dollar I had because I thought I was cool and I thought I was balling, and I'm this guy that owns this company. That was dumb and that was stupid, and I should have never did that. So that was a big learning experience. So if you guys have companies right now that are doing a pretty decent amount in sales, stop spending money on food and start putting the money back into your company. Because even we're changing stuff up for this year. Last year we spent $5,000 in food. That's my insurance bill for the year. That's $5,000 in food. That's so just look at your numbers and do what you got to do to just not waste your money. But the profits for now is basically anything like that we make. I try and make as much as I can after I pay myself, because I've earned that. Is that after you pay yourself, whatever profits left, just invest it back into your company. Anything that you can buy, figure out that new product at IAPA, or figure out that new product that's coming out that's like, hey, this might be a good seller, and just go buy it.
Right.
And I guess actually just with that, something that you guys might be able to learn with products. So I actually stopped just flat out buying things. What I would do is I'd put them on my website.
I was just going to say that. I was going to bring it back to
see if they run it.
Why the website is important.
Yep. So I literally I added like air hockey. I added a bunch of things that was the new big thing that everyone's buying all these games. So everyone's buying the Hungry Hippo. Everyone's buying all these games, but I put it on my site and no one was trying to run it. Like no one added it to their cart or anything. So I'm glad at IAPA when I'm walking around these conventions, I almost bought that game. And if I would have bought that, I've been sitting with a $4,000 piece of vinyl that would have never been used.
So these other people are getting hyped up buying it because I think it's going to be great. But
some people,
because they got sold on it. What I do the same thing. So I put something on my website and I have a way to track it where I keep track. And once I've gotten 10 requests for the thing, because I've got almost everything priced at 10% to get the rental back. Once I get 10 requests for it, then I know it's popular enough to buy.
Yep.
And then I don't have to invest that money in the beginning.
Yeah, I there's definitely not a number other than the 10 factor that I've come to where it's like if you whatever price you're running stuff for too, guys, you should be able to pay it off within 10 times that it goes out. With like tables and chairs and stuff, you probably can do it for less, but that's definitely a good rule of thumb to know, is that if you rent something out more than 10 times, I guess for bounce houses, tends to the basic stuff here.
Yeah.
You rent out 10 times, you should be able to pay it off. So make sure you're charging right. Don't be charging like $30 to rent a bounce house. That's just stupid.
Don't do that.
So don't do that.
That's what they do out in California.
Yeah, bring us.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. What's some of the biggest issues for running your business?
Respect. I think respect was something I didn't find until this past just season. It's really hard to find people who want to work for a 14-year-old and who
Right.
want to work for a 16-year-old, because the second you start telling them to do something, they think you're nothing and they think you don't know like what you're doing. Even at 14, again, growing up my whole life, I was in the bounce house world, so I still knew to a point what I was doing. I obviously wasn't the smartest in the world, but I knew the basics of the company. But I think respect was probably the hardest thing to
Okay.
to get. So
That's interesting. That is kind of unique to you.
yeah,
That,
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
yeah. Um, what now that you're more established and a little older and have the respect, what's some other just day-to-day kind of hard things, employee things, money things?
Yeah. I think if I were to come up with like really hard things, I guess like past the respect thing, I think it was really this past year we really focused on kind of coming up with a company like culture. It was something that I just wanted my workers. It was really hard to find people, and I know everyone has that problem. It was really hard to find people that kind of fit what I wanted my company to resemble. So I mean, if that's something that I can contribute to, agree like just with you guys, we're like, it was really hard, but you got to do what you got to do to find those people that represent what you represent and be the
Right.
face of your company.
How would you describe your company culture?
I describe my company culture as a place where my workers show up, and I want my workers to show up where they're happy and they want to be there, and it's I don't know. Company culture, it's like it's just an overall vibe. Like when they come in, it's not like, oh, that's Dave the boss. It's like, oh, that's Dave, like he's a good guy, he's gonna do what he can to help us. Like I don't want people to be afraid to talk to me. Like when they
Right.
see me, they're not like, oh, like don't say something stupid. Like no, say something stupid and then I'll tell you why. Like you should not say that. Like
Right.
I'm just trying to be an honest and upfront guy. Like I'm 21, I'm learning, but it's like just for a company culture, I really loved and how this past year I like my workers were so happy. Like you make them show up at 6 like a.m. They leave at 10 p.m. and they're showing up the next day at 6 a.m. with smiles because I got donuts there and I got coffee. It's just this taking care of your workers is the only way to build a good culture.
Right. Let me tell you about my company culture real quick.
Yeah.
There's two
Nice.
company cultures. There's the one for the outside where we do the good work and we're nice and polite to the customers. But then there's the one on the inside when you're driving in the trucks in the warehouse where we
Yeah.
make fun of each other so bad every day. And they make fun of me. We have lists on the wall of when you did something dumb.
Nice.
I've sung 99 bottles of beer on the wall several times. It takes like half hour, 45 minutes to get through to annoy them. They do the same to me. I got this one kid named Timmy, and I just sing songs to him all day long about his mom. And
Nice.
but everyone loves it, and it's not a job because they get to make fun of me. They get to call me an old bald guy or whatever.
Yeah,
so that's my company culture, but
that's
I like
good.
it that way.
That's good. The second your workers start to undermine you and question you as an owner, is the second you lost them, and they're insects. The second they have a problem, they're going right to their friend, and after their friend, it goes to the next friend. So it's like, just take care of your people and don't be rude. Just show them that you care.
Right. I show them I care. They all know I care.
Yeah.
But
joking around is a good way to show care.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Someone had a question to that degree about some things in the bounce house business. What's the one thing you hate about the bounce house business?
Interesting. Wow. See, I guess my it kind of like goes back and forth here. Something I would hate about the bounce house of the industry is like, I don't know. I guess I would say the hours that I have to work, but then again, I work June through September and then I vacation and have fun for the rest of the year. So it's like, I don't really, there's nothing really I hate about the industry. I haven't found anything that I actually like. I wake up in the morning and go like, I hate it. Like I can tell you right now, I wake up every morning and when I have to go to storage and I don't go, man, I'm going to my job. I'm going like, I'm supposed to bounce houses today. Like there's nothing, I don't hate it, because if I hated it, I wouldn't be doing it. So.
Right. That's awesome. That's the way to be. That's usually what most business owners
be happy,
feel like. It's not a job, it's their life and it's fun. I want to get into efficiency, but before I say that, get into that, I want to tell you a quote I heard basically the first week I started my business. I signed up for a newsletter, and the newsletter from this tent rental company said, You can make more money by either getting more equipment, working longer hours and working harder, or you can take more profit by becoming more efficient. So what are some efficiency things that you do in your business, whether that's to get the trucks loaded faster, to get the bounce houses up faster, to get things from site to site faster? Because some big guy in the industry recently just told me a very enlightening thing. We all think we're in the party business. We think we're in the party business, but we're really not, because we're not there at the party ever.
Nope.
We drop off and we leave. What we're in is the material handling and logistics business. That's all we're doing, getting stuff from point A to point B. We're not really a party business. So what are some efficiency things you do to help you squeeze out some more minutes during the day or just get things done faster?
Yeah, I feel like I can only really talk about this past year, because again, like years before, I was kind of like just me and like a few friends, just doing their stuff. But like this past year for the summer for efficiency, I was training my manager, and I was trying to get him to understand how things run, so I don't need to be there. So basically for efficiency, I would really say like loading for like the loading in the morning, and then pickups at night. So I'll start off with the loading. So for loading up the night before, I'm printing out the contract. So I'm preparing for the next day. So that way, because me doing work is a lot cheaper than 10 employees standing around just waiting. So I'm going to save my time right now and get all my contract work done, my routing done like that week. So that way, when I show up, I hand them a binder. It's got their contracts in a row with the just numbers 1 through X, and they know what order to do the jobs in. And basically, if I wasn't there, that's kind of like how it goes. We'll back up 3 trucks at just one time, and then there's 2 people like per truck. They'll start to load them up. But if I was there, so usually from May through mid-July, because mid-July is when I kind of stepped away to let my manager just test things out and just run it. But from May through like mid-July, I would literally line up those contracts on a table, and I would literally yell out, like, it probably wasn't the best way, I guess, but like I would literally yell out like, okay, I had like 7 people with dollies, and I would literally nail out every single jump. And as long as those guys were throwing those jumps in the way I was calling them, it was really quick. And when we can load up 45 parties in half an hour, that's not bad. It's good.
And you're loading the trucks in a way that makes sense, so that like the last
FIFO. Yeah. So if like you have your list of contract guys, you have like 1 through 10, let's say, you do the 10th one, then the 9th and the 8th and 7th and 6th. So you do everything backwards. So that way, when you get to the job, you drop your trailer down, or you drop your truck bed down, you grab that first jump, grab the second jump. So, but basically, I'd have 6 guys with just dollies. I would yell out jumps. They'd load up the first truck, and all of us would work together to do all 3 trucks at just one time. So that way, not one truck was leaving, and we had less people, but it was just a really good way. And then I had the girls grabbing the stakes, the cords, the motors, and stuff like that. So it was very quick and efficient. That's probably not the way that massive companies run when there's 500 parties going out, but it worked out well for me. So
no, that is how they run.
Perfect.
but you try to keep maybe 3 guys to a truck, because you get too many guys in the truck, it goes crazy.
Oh yeah.
And usually there is one guy yelling out what's going on.
Okay, cool.
First in, first out. Yeah. So like, what about on the job site? What are you got any efficiency things there?
The job site, the biggest thing for my training day. So every day or every year in May for the past 3 years, I've done a training day where I bring all the new guys in. We show them one type of each piece of equipment so they can put it towards the other jumps on how to roll them and stuff. But for efficiency, for actually at the job sites, if they have to take more than one trip with 2 guys to set up a 15 by 15, I'm not happy. Like, you should be able to walk back there with the bounce house, the motor in one hand, if it's 2 guys, let's say, and then the other guy has the tarp, the stakes, the motor, the cord, and the hammer. Like, 2 hands, go. Like, it's quick and easy. It's like you walk back there, they tell you where to set it up. When you drop that bounce house and it's starting to blow up, you literally have your stakes just ready to go. You start putting the stakes in, and then while you're staking, you can go talk to the customer, you go sign the contract. By the time you're done doing the contract, the other person should be done cleaning it. It's a
Right.
quick, like 15 just minute thing. If my guys are at a 15 by 15 job for more than 20 minutes, it's too slow.
Right.
You got to be quick. So
Definitely. I mean, you do have some tents, but we also
yeah.
do this thing where we shame everyone for empty trips. If you're going back to the truck, there's something you can bring back, and when you're at the truck, there's always something you can bring forward.
Yep.
Never an empty trip.
Lazy people. Yeah.
Yep.
Never. If you, yeah, just don't do it. If you have workers just right now and you want to teach them a way to be faster, just literally tell them, like, just never go from the truck to the job site with nothing in your hands. There's always something to grab unless you're grabbing a pen.
Right.
That's it.
Even then, if you're grabbing a pen, you got to bring something back with you, and you better bring more than just a pen back with you.
Yes.
On this efficiency earlier, David Core asked, what can truck do you recommend for bounce houses?
Yes. So I'm still kind of, as amazing as this might sound, I'm still in the testing phase for what dolly I like the most. The company that I just partnered up with, they have mag liner, like dollies, the red ones, the motorized ones. So if you guys have the money for the motorized, those are pretty cool. I don't really like the way their battery charges are set up. They kind of come apart sometimes, but they've been a pretty good brand to use. If you're looking for just a basic dolly that's not powered, cheap, like $110. I don't know if you guys have it like near you, but I go to Tractor Supply. And I get $120 black just dolly. It's got 2 big wheels, and it's been perfect for a 15 by 15. I guess anywhere from a 350-pound jump and less for that dolly. So
yeah, bounce houses are crazy with the dollies. Like I've seen companies who just make bounce house dollies.
Yeah.
They're just such huge and heavy things.
Oh yeah.
We got a question from Tony. Tony's the next Reyes the entrepreneur. Everyone go watch his channel. He's going to be the next Reyes. Oh wait, it was up here. Don't say the name of it because YouTube has an algorithm for it. But how has this whole situation currently happening impacted your bounce house business?
So this whole situation is messed up, guys. You know, it stinks. It's that 100-year disease that no one saw coming. You know, and it's definitely impacted our business. I don't want to say just numbers exactly, but we lost almost every single school and church job that we had booked, and we lost almost every single backyard party we had booked from March until mid-April, and it's a lot. It's a lot, and it stinks, but there's nothing that I can do about it. And this has really taught me as a business owner this is where we should bring up the profits thing. What do you do with your profits? Like, save them. You know,
right.
like you should be saving this money. Like there's only probably 10% of people right now that are going, I'm fine because I saved my money. The rest of us were like, I shouldn't have spent 30 grand here. I should have spent that. Well, it's like, you spent all your money, and it stinks, and it's gonna stink for however long it takes, but it is what it is. And as business owners, you need to do what you got to do to pay your bills. Again, if you want me to be honest with what I'm doing to pay my bills, so obviously we don't have enough work for my guys to work, so they're on unemployment or they found like different jobs to do. But me personally, I still have $5,000 a month of bills to pay to keep the company going. Season to start today. So I currently do grocery delivery and stuff like that. I'm working as many jobs as I physically can to keep the doors open so my workers can come to a job, and they'll never, even if they listen to this, they'll never appreciate it, but I'm doing everything I can to make sure our doors are open when this is done with. So it's tough.
This is for everyone listening too. I made a video about this earlier today. But did you do the SBA loan yet? Small business.
I applied for, yes. So I did apply for one about 2 weeks ago, and then something came out 2 days ago with an easier process and way to fill it out. I don't know the exact link or to where it is, but it's just
basically everyone go online and just type in SBA space and then the name of this thing that's going on right now, and you'll be brought to a link where you can apply for the loan. When you apply for the loan, if you're approved, you also get a $10,000 grant. And then you can choose if you want to add more to it for a loan that actually gets paid back. But the $10,000, as of right now, you don't actually have to pay back. So everyone go do that. I own 3 companies, so I did it for all 3 companies today. I was only going to do it for one, but my CPA said, go do it for all of them. So I did.
Yeah. I actually was not going to, I was actually not going to apply for a loan because I was like, oh, it'd probably be like a high an interest rate. But my accountant literally like called me up. He's like, Dave, just fill it out. And I'm like, all right.
Right.
I'll fill it out. That's fine. So.
Yep. It's good for right now. Gorth Balian, I don't know if a lot of people know who he is on here, but I think most people do. He's got a YouTube channel all about tents too. He's got a question about the liability issues with bounce houses, kids getting hurt type thing. Do you have any liability issues with that, or have you ever had a claim against you for anyone getting hurt?
I'm very proud to say this, and knock on wood, again, I'm very proud to say this. We've been in business for 20 years, not had one person get hurt. So awesome. It's literally, guys, obviously this is an issue. That's why we pay so much for insurance, and that's why we're always on the news if something goes down. But this is I feel like we're the only industry where something goes wrong and we're on the news, the front channel, like immediately, like DWIs are forgotten, but but I think for insurance wise, it's all about training your customers. Like, we don't just set up the bounce house and leave. Like, within that 20 minutes, you're setting up that bounce house, and that second guy is going over the rules that are on the front of the jump. No pushing, no shoving. If the people are not the same age, they're not allowed to go inside. There should be more than 5 people. If it's getting windy, it's more than 10 miles an hour. I don't care. The manufacturer says 15. If it's more than 10, you're shutting it down. It's protecting yourselves. If you train your customers, you're good. You just
really
need to train
like
your customers.
How you say that? Train your customers. That's awesome.
Well, we're not going to be there, right? So who's really responsible? Train the people that are going to be watching the stuff there. Because we can go to court all you want, and I could be like, oh, well, on the front of the jump, like, it says this. But if we have safety videos, or if we have things and we actually teach our people and explain to them, like, in person, like, what are you going to fight us? We literally told you don't have it up if it's past like this wind, the winds. And then we send out text messages to every client. If there's ever wind above 10, I send out a text messages to every single customer like that day saying, hey, winds are going to be around 10 or above 10. Please shut off the unit from this time to this time. If something happens, I'm not worried about going to court. It's going to be sad if something does happen, but I'm literally telling them to shut it down. Right. Like, if you have problems, you need to train your customers. And like, my customers that have been running for 10 years now, they know. Right. They know what's up.
Good. So, we got a comment about, if you have trucks and have Amazon Flex, rent your trucks to your guys and help them still working. I don't know. I don't know if you got to be near a distribution center or something. I don't know.
I've never done that. I've never, I think I've heard of Uber trucking and Amazon trucking where you can use your box trucks to do that. We don't have box trucks. We just have 6 trucks, regular trucks. So
right. Gotcha.
Can't do that.
You guys, I'm just about done with my questions. So this is the time where you guys want to, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them. But on one of my next questions is, do you have a mentor or someone you can call for advice? Like, where do you go?
Wow, I have a lot of mentors. I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am today if I was alone and I didn't reach out to people. I think my biggest mentor right now is my competitor that I started talking to 4 years ago. Like, I think that's it. My uncle is the one who gave me the loan to start the engraving stuff. He's a big mentor. Anytime that I have questions, he's super just honest and upfront. Like, any mentors you guys have, just make sure they're honest. Don't get people that spoon feed you stuff, like, that make you feel good. Like, I want people to tell me, like, no, Dave, like, that's not good. You need to take care of this. So just make sure whoever your mentors are, they're not feeding you just happy stuff. I want the real thing, But yeah, just mentors. I have a ton. I'm on a bunch of just Facebook pages too. So like the ERS page, the pro page, I feel like everyone's kind of, because I'm 21, I like joke around with probably like 6 or 7 guys on like those chats where I'm like, thanks, Dad. Like, thank you. I just feel like there's so many people that are just there that are willing to offer you guys free help. Like, don't be afraid to reach out.
Right. So, yeah. The Facebook groups are a good place.
Awesome. Free.
Yeah. Free. Is your engraving company still making money? Are you still doing things?
Yeah, so the engraving company, what happened with that is, to make a long story short, it was going well. And then basically, the guy I interviewed for my high school project to start a company for like the fake thing that we were doing for school, he wanted to partner up. So we actually partnered up with that when I was 18. And I don't own a big chunk of the company because I'm never really there, but I make enough to be happy. So
You make
it's
money
fine.
from not having to do much.
Yep. Yep. It's fine.
Cool.
It's definitely not my like my bread and butter. It's not what pays my bills. It's not what pays my truck payment, but
Right.
it's just something that doesn't do what the bounce house business did for me in sales. So I just put my eggs into that basket. So
Cool.
Good. Yeah.
All right, we got a question. When do you know it's time to go full-time, part-time?
Great question.
They have 12 units right now.
That's the time. No. So I would honestly look at your life right now. So that's a huge question that I see people asking all the time, and they ask me, all the time. Like there's no really time to tell you like when is right. It's more of when you're ready to make that leap of faith to put your life into this business to where it's just you need it. Like if you don't do well, you're homeless. Like so that's a really big question that people have asked me, and I don't really know a good answer other than look at your personal financial situation, cut it down as much as you possibly can to bare just minimum. And if your business can pay for that and pay for insurance and pay for your trucks and pay for your phone bill and, pay for all this stuff, if you could do that, maybe now's the time to do it. I'm definitely not saying the bounce house business is for everybody to get into full time. I don't think a lot of business owners should have gone into their business full time because they're not good at what they do. I'm not trying to be rude. It's just like maybe bounce houses are just something you got 12 of them and you work your weekday job. You make $800 a week. Your wife is happy. Your kids go to school. You're good. And on the weekends, you're hustling with your son or with a good friend of yours. You're making $1,000 or $2,000 a week. Like there's different situations to what you're doing, but the second that I knew this was my full-time thing was when I owed my parents money and I had $2,000 at first a month in bills to pay. Parents are not going to pay it, so I have bills to pay. So when I stepped in full-time is the day that I went into college and paid off the loan to get out of there. Right. So that was the day for me.
Yeah, it's different for everyone, but like basically you got to be able to pay for your life, but you also need some more extra so you can grow the company. What do you think makes you thrive like you do, and what keeps you motivated daily in this industry? I'm going to field this one real quick. I know he's asking you.
Hey, Steven.
But no, you know Steven?
Yep. Good friend.
Okay. So if anyone else has seen an interview that I did, I got a different kind of answer to this than most entrepreneurs are going to. Nothing keeps me motivated. I don't have to feel motivated about anything. I just wake up and I just do. I don't have to like read some crazy thing on the wall. I don't have to think about anything. This is not like something that's hard to do. I just wake up and I do. There's nothing going on in my brain. I just wake up and I do and I exist.
Yep.
What about you?
I love that. So what do I think that makes me thrive? Man, I'd like to say money, but I feel like everyone says that. Like money comes and goes. So it's like something that makes me thrive. It's just, I think what I said in the beginning of this chat with like just trying to be successful and being just so successful to like people look at you and they're like, man, like you're doing good. Like I just had that motivation to where I know where I want to be. And even though sometimes I get to where I want to be to a point, I just keep extending it. So it's like I just have personal goals to where I want to be in life, and no matter where I am, I'm always making them bigger and better, and I'm just trying my best. So just personal goals for thriving. Obviously, I love the attention for like the ERS group and stuff like that, but it's just a nice feeling to know that even with helping people on like some of the Facebook pages, it's just something that makes you feel good that you help someone. It's just that's what makes me thrive, and that's what makes me happy.
Good.
So
it's good. We got a quick question from Jordan from Tents and Event Rentals. He's got a YouTube channel too, all about tents. That's how I know these guys' names without whatever. But What's the process of finding and hiring more employees?
Okay, so again, I guess I was lucky until like last yearish. I would say with hiring is that I just got out of high school, so I knew a lot of young boys and girls that were going
Okay.
to college that just wanted to get a job, and so I was really lucky with it. But I feel like once I started to lose that, I started going into my workers that I already have. And 2 years ago, it worked. I didn't bring it back this past year because I didn't just need to. But I offered people like, hey, if you recommend me someone and they stick around for the whole summer, I'll give you like $300. So they would actually like think like, who's a good person? They wouldn't be like, oh, my cousin, because we all got that cousin that's a good worker,
Right.
and I don't want them. So
Yeah,
but
that's how I got all my employees. Not the bonus thing. I hope one of my employees doesn't watch this, but every single one of my employees I've gotten from another employee.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the best ways. We got basically the same questions, which I have right here. At the end of my interview, I always have 3 questions I ask everyone. But Randy said where you want to be at the end of this year. Someone else had asked what's next for you. And my question is, what are your plans for the future? So they're basically all the same thing. What are your plans for the future?
Yeah, so to answer Randy's question there for this year, obviously I don't think we have any idea what's going to happen. So I don't want to go into detail now about what it is, but currently with my partner, we're starting up a new company to bring in money to pay our bills and stuff like that. So maybe once we get that started and going and it's going well, then maybe I'll start to share more stuff with that. But that's kind of what I'm planning for this year. I'm to a point, guys, just planning as if we might not have a season. As much as that might sound poopy and stuff like that, I'm just trying to plan as a business owner. I have bills to pay, so I'm just going to plan for the worst. And worst comes to worst, we go right back to normal. I hire my guys back, and we're back to work. So,
Right.
But plans for the future, I haven't really we all have those dreams and stuff, but I definitely for the future, I would say my 10-year plan would be that any company that I'm involved in within the next 5 years and before, so now is they're all just running themselves. I don't need to be there. Maybe I make a few important phone calls that I have to make to keep them going, but I'm paying people to run them because that's the point in running a business is that I don't need to be there. I just want my stuff to run itself and I want my check. I've put my dues in for this bounce house stuff. I'm done. I've been in this stuff my whole life. I need it to run itself and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that it does. So it's important to me.
And then you take that money that you get and you put it into investments where your money just makes money for you.
Yep. Or to the company. So yeah.
Right. We got a very interesting question here, which a lot of people think about because bounce house schedules and tent schedules are different. So how would you advise a tent rental company that wants to get into bounce houses on the side, but fit that into their tent setup schedule? Because tents are usually going up 1, 2, 3 days in advance and not coming down for 1, 2, 3 days after.
Yep. So with that, with the tents, so what I've done, we don't have a ton of tents, but for the 10 tents like that we do have, anytime that I'm doing the routing, I never tell people we're going to set up that tent the day before. I never tell them that. I basically tell them on the phone. Our goal is to at least get that tent set up the day before and take it down the day after. That's the goal though. So depending on what the routing is like for the weekend, if it's 4th of July, whatever it is, I try my best to get it there. But for when you're mixing in the bounce houses, this is a business. It doesn't, you have to make sure every time you send out a truck that truck is making you just money. And it's not worth it to send a truck with just a tent up north 45 just minutes for a tent job and then go back the next day for a bounce house. So if you got a bounce house that's up north, you're setting it up 2 days before, and you need to let your customers know that if they're whatever range you decide is too far to make the day of, so ours is more than 30 minutes north, we might come a day or two before, and I'm sorry, but we're busy and we have to do what we have to do to get the jobs out. If you want your bounce house, we're coming.
Okay, so that's where the confusion comes in, because a lot of us tent guys, we always hear that you got to do the bounce house the same day, put it up, take it down the same day. But you're actually setting up bounce houses in advance of the day of the party. Okay, so
if I can, yes.
Okay, I mean, if I did bounce houses, that's what I would do, because Saturdays is literally our only day off in the tent business in my side, and I don't want to be going putting up bounce houses that morning. I want to just do it the same thing like I do with my tents.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. So just again, it's about training your clients. Like, it's when they call you and you're providing them the service, you say, hey, listen, this is how we usually do things. You are kind of far away. If we do, like if we do like do this job or something like that, we will be coming a day or two before. Like, that's just be honest and upfront with them. Like, you have to be like, don't lie to them and be like, yeah, we'll be there at 9 a.m., the day of, when they're 2 hours away. Like, don't screw yourself. So,
Right. So we're getting close to an hour. I'm going to field one more question here. Oh, we're actually over an hour, but,
sorry.
What the, oh, wait, Jordan doesn't have any friends. No, he doesn't.
Man, that's rough.
He has long hair and looks like a girl. So everyone hates him. I'm just kidding, Jordan. We
all love you.
I went to click on his other question. Okay. What do you do to patch your items, and how long can you expect a bounce house to last?
Great question. So for when I patch my inflatables, I usually use, because that's the question, right? Yeah. So I do patch my stuff. I'm not in an area of New York State. So we're in Buffalo. We're not in New York City. So there's a completely different like clientele. If there's a patch on a bounce house, as long as we still view it as safe for our customers to go on it, then we'll just patch it and just take care of it. I usually use the same vinyl that came with the bounce house itself, so that way it's sticking right. And I use that glue like that they said too. And how long can you expect a bounce house to last? Depends on who you're buying it from. I have, to a point, tried my best to make it a mission to only get bounce houses that I believe are of my quality standards and of what I want to give to my customers. So I've actually only been buying from Magic Jump, and because it all kind of started back when I used to call them on my birthday, and that was my birthday gift. My mom would let me get a bounce house, So, but with Magic Jump, I feel like it's just a good quality product that the money you're paying for, it might be $200 or $300 more for a 15 by 15, but I still got 15 by 15s that are 12 to 15 years old that are still colorful. They're still perfectly fine. They smell fine. They're clean. So as long as you take care of your stuff, it's going to last. If you're maybe looking for a product that you can keep for, there's tons of people that have this product for a long time, but a really good thing that you could do is maybe you could buy from Jump Orange, or you could buy from TNT in Buffalo. Maybe you guys can buy that stuff, you keep it for 2 years, and then sell it to someone for half the price of what you bought it for, and you could do that too. So it's really all about what you want to do with your stuff. I choose to keep my stuff as long as possible, because when I got a Jump that's 15 years old that brings me in $6,000 a year and it costs me $1,000, like, why not just keep it?
Right. Definitely. Basic last, everyone's kind of just talking to each other over here on the
that's fine. Comments. That's fine.
What would you do different? These are my last two questions. What would you do different, and any advice for someone just starting out? Different. Wow. That I would personally do differently and dumb. Right. I think if I were to come up, my biggest flaw and something that I would change to be different was the way I managed people from my first year till my second and third year-ish. This past year was 100% just different. I definitely was not the nicest boss, and I lost a lot of friends because, again, I thought I was cool, and I was just in that headset of just being rude. And I watched too many Steve Jobs, just videos, and stuff like that, just being rude and just getting like what you want out of your workers. But I changed the way I manage my people, and I make them feel special, because I've learned the past 2 years that the people that are working for you, I need to do a lot, again, to gain their respect, but just learning how to treat your workers right, make them feel special, and make them feel way more important than you will ever be is the smartest thing that I've ever done. And that's something that I would change from what I did, past like 3 years beforehand. That I was losing friends like left and right, because if you didn't do what, like, because your friends they don't respect you because you're your friend from high school. Like, oh, you're telling me like what to do. Like, that's not cool, So I would definitely change the way that I was managing my people, and I've come back and I've apologized like to those people, and we're friends now.
which is cool. But I would change my management style. So if you guys can Google just videos on how to manage like people and do everything you can to learn about company culture, just do it. It's big.
Right. That's a good answer. I said those are the last two questions, but we just want to follow up for this one guy.
Yeah.
When you set up, I'm thinking about starting a bounce house company too, so this is also for me as well. Do you put a tarp over it in case it rains if you're setting up a few days before, and any preparation you got to tell the customer to do beforehand, or do they just turn on the blower and go?
100%. So again, yeah, it's all about training your customers. But for rain, it's look at what the weather is going just going to be. If it's going to be so, the worst thing that you can do is have someone's party on a Saturday and it's beautiful on Saturday. You drop it off on Friday and it's crappy out on Friday, and the bounce house gets destroyed for Saturday. So that is the absolute worst thing that you could do for someone. So you need to plan ahead. So if you're going to be setting up stuff like that, like days ahead of time, you need to plan for what the weather's like. And sometimes the weather is not going to be in your favor, like every weekend, but right. It's if you need to, we usually, if we leave stuff overnight and it's supposed to be nice out, we usually don't leave a tarp because it's usually just dewy and like just a little wet from sitting there. But once you blow it up and it's up for 10 minutes, then it's fine. But if it's going to be bad out, then we blow it up, we stake it down, and then we literally shut it down. We put a tarp, and then we put sandbags on like the corners, and we tell our customers, don't touch it, don't use it until tomorrow when it is nice out. So
right,
that's what I would recommend to do.
Okay, good to know. Well, everyone, thank you for all the questions.
Thank you.
And thanks for everyone making fun of each other on the side comments. That's my company culture. But nice. Thank you for being on, Dave. It was good to have you on. Also, wait, there's another thing to touch on. Do you have a podcast?
I do. Yeah. I just started it. So this was something that I wanted to start like 5 months ago, but I just started because of what's going on. I have more time. So I made a podcast. So if you guys want to follow on Facebook, it's Business Today with Dave Lush. So if you guys want to follow that page, that would be cool. I kind of post just different business advice and, positive quotes and stuff like that just for you guys to follow. And if you guys ever have any questions, just reach me out on that Facebook page and I'll be more than welcome to answer any questions that you guys have. I frequently do video chats like this, usually every Friday night-ish. So tomorrow on Facebook pages like the pro group and like that. So yeah, us or shoot me an email and we go from there. So be good.
Sounds good. I'll put that in the description of where you can go find that podcast. But anyways, thanks for being on. It was you're very impressive that you're 21 and doing so well.
Thank you.
It's very cool to see. All right.
Thank you so
everyone,
much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
It.
Oh, wait, dude. Come on.